What's happening? Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome back to Conversations on the Couch. Good to see you. Let me see who's checking in. OT starter, Mr. Thames. Good to see you. While you're checking in, Jazzman Quinn. Good to see you. So, just want to give a shout out to everybody that is here while you're checking in. Let me know where you're checking in from. Tonight, we're going to have a great conversation. We're going to talk about that topic of being put on a pedestal. What's up, Gigi Wright? Good to see you. Robert Jackson. So we're going to talk about pedestals tonight and being put on the pedestal or putting somebody on a pedestal. However it works out, we're going to have a conversation about it. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to approach it from a different perspective than we're used to, which is all good. South Carolina is here. Good to see you. All American. Good to see you. Almond Boss. Good to see you. Sean Stewart. Good to see everybody checking in. Roach. Good to see you. So thanks for being here. Again, just checking in. Let me know where you're from. But let's jump into this topic, all right? Because earlier today, I posted a picture on Facebook, Instagram, and it was of a man. He was one of those guys that are in. Hey, Stephanie, one of those guys that are in strongman competition. So he's a real big guy. He was carrying a thing called an Atlas stone. What's up, Maryland is in the house. So he had an Atlas stone, which is a real big stone. And so in these strongman competitions, what they do is they pick up these really big Atlas stones and they lift them up and they put them on a platform. Okay. And so as I was thinking about this, I saw the other day where there was a discussion about men putting women on a pedestal and how that's negative and how women want to be on a pedestal, but they're not able to stay up there. And so there was just all this conversation about pedestals. And it got me thinking about the term, about a pedestal. And as I thought about these strongman competitions. I've seen these guys and women pick up these very large stones, pick them up and put them on top of a platform or a pedestal. So what's the problem, right? What's the issue? Is it good to be put on the pedestal? Is it negative to be put on the pedestal? That's the conversation we're having. And as I thought about it, I thought oftentimes we think about being put on a pedestal, but we think about required in order to get onto the pedestal. We want to be held. Some people want to be placed on a pedestal, but they don't. I ask this question. I'm like, okay, if you want to be put on a pedestal, if you want to be lifted up, how convenient do you make it for someone? How much of a challenge is there for that person to lift you up to this place? Are you considering everything that needs to be considered? And what is a pedestal? What does it even mean to you to be put on a pedestal? And so if we look up the word, it means a place of reverence and honor. So let's just park there for a second. If being placed on a pedestal means that you are being placed in a position of reverence and honor, who wants that? Right? I have a little, something here to help me out here. So this is one of my candle, pedestals, right? We're going to use this as our pedestal. So who wants to be placed in a position? This pedestal is going to represent a position of reverence and honor. Who wants to be placed there? I know I would. I would want to be placed on a pedestal. I would want to be elevated to a place of reverence and honor in a relationship. Who wouldn't? Well, the conversation starts to be unpacked and starts to unfold. And there seems to be some negative thoughts around being placed on a pedestal because being placed on a pedestal has then become associated with something negative. But let's think about why. If I can get you to change your mind about something that is actually positive and be against it, is that going to hurt you or is that going to help you? Well, clearly it's going to hurt you. If I can get you thinking that being placed on a pedestal is actually a negative thing where you say, I don't want to be placed on a pedestal, that's ridiculous, then that's not going to enhance your relationship. Let's think about the example, right? This strongman competition, this man picks up this huge stone and lifts it up and places it on top of this pedestal. Well, what did that require? What did it require for him to do that? That man had to decide. He had to know some things. He had to say, okay, I know I have some idea about the weight of what I'm about to do. I have some idea about the weight of this situation. And we're going to use it in the relationship terms. He's like, I have some idea about the weight of this relationship, what it's going to cost me, what it's going to require of me. So now what I'm going to have to do is I can't just show up in any kind of condition and think that I am going to be able to lift up this situation to a higher level. Nah, see, lifting something up requires more strength than allowing it to just stay there. Here's a picture. So hopefully you can see all these little candles right here. Let's just say these represent possible people that you can be in a relationship with. And so everybody's on the same level. You're just walking through, you're operating in life, no big deal. Everybody is there. But if one of them happens to catch your eye or catch someone else's eye, then you say, I want to assign this person a different kind of, a higher place of reverence and honor. Like, I can honor everybody, I can revere everyone. But in this relationship, when it's time to go to the next level, I say, okay, this one right here needs, I need her going to another level. I don't want her being confused with everybody else. So I'm placing her in a position that is of higher reverence and honor, due to the fact that my focus is now here and it is not here. But I don't want to be put on a pedestal. Oh, yes, you do. You really do. Because if you don't want to be on the pedestal, that means, guess what? You're good being just like everybody else. Now, there is some responsibility with being placed on a pedestal. See, here, no matter how heavy, how much, involvement it takes with you and how much relationship, there's some responsibility on me, right? If I want to lift this candle, I have to now first make a decision. Then I'm going to have to exert some intentional energy and effort in order to elevate this one higher than all the others, and then place it in a position that is secure and stable and where it can be seen. Like, that's the point. In relationships, we're not just trying to have a general relationship with everybody and everybody is the same. No. We should assign someone a place of reverence and value that is unique to them in this relationship, because we want more from them than we want from everyone else. We want something more in depth, more detailed. We want more focus, more attention. We want to highlight this one more than we want to highlight the others. We want to see this one stand apart from all the others. This is a place of reverence and honor. A pedestal is a good thing. A pedestal is not a negative. But see, here we have this idea that a pedestal is associated with some type of abuse and manipulation and someone mistreating. That's not it. See, here's the thing. You know me. We've been together a while. You know I'm not going to harm you. But there's a conversation that happens, right, where God will say, this is good. And then anyone contrary to God will say, this is good, but, right? And so if you remember, if you've ever heard the story about the Garden of Eden, and then God was saying, look, you can eat from all the other trees, just don't eat from the one of the knowledge of good and evil. Well, the thing about the knowledge of good and evil is you'll take a little bit of good and mix it with a little bit of evil. A pedestal is good. It's all good when you think about it. A place of reverence and honor is good. But if you start bringing in your emotions behind it, thinking, no, the last time this happened, this person did this person did that, you start bringing in something negative that doesn't belong with this. This by itself is okay. Reverence and honor all by itself is fantastic. We want that. Somebody might say, well, no, like if you're putting someone on a pedestal, that makes them better than you. No, that's not true either. Like, we can just look at this picture. I put this candle on a pedestal. It's not more valuable than me. No, it has value to me, but I'm not saying this pedestal is I'm lowly compared to the pedestal. No, I can take this pedestal and I can lift it up and say, you know what, man, because I revere and honor this, I'm okay. If I lift this up, it doesn't make me lesser. I'm actually, if you think about it, I'm actually in a process of being stronger because I'm taking something and elevating it to another level. And if I can hold this at this level, that's going to increase my strength. This does not decrease me. See, in relationships, this is why you'll never hear me talk about falling in love. Because falling in love, let me see if I can get this on camera, is like this. I'm falling in love. you went from a high place to a low place. That thing just fell. But now from that low place, rising in love says, I put you here. You're on the pedestal, a place of reverence and honor. And now that you are here, and now that we are having this relationship and this connection, if I can even start lifting you up higher, that's even greater. I have to be stronger to lift. If you've ever been to the gym, if you ever went to train, you know that it is harder to lift up the bar than it is to leave the bar on the ground. The challenge is in the lift up, not to leave it there. And so one of the things that we need to do and recognize is that if we are going to have strong relationships, we really need to be about this pedestal life. We need to understand, what does it mean to be placed on a pedestal? As the person that is doing the placing and the person that is being placed. What responsibility do you have when you are on a pedestal? Right? So this candle on a pedestal, right? The candle is meant to the candle is meant to burn, right? So the candle is lit and is on a pedestal. Okay. No man lights a candle and then hides it. Right. That's not the point. The point is it's supposed to burn. It's supposed to be seen. This relationship, I just added some fire to the relationship. Right. So now the fire is like, okay, cool. I'm going to burn. I'm in this position of burning. Great. I'm held up. This is fantastic. There's a responsibility in this example that even the candle has. And so the candle says, okay, I'm going to burn. You light me up, I'm going to burn. You put me in this position of being lit. But look at these other ones. They're not on fire. Might as well just get them out. Look, my focus, we're drawn to the fire. So now if I can take this fire, I'm like, okay, we're going to lift this up higher. We're going to put this in a position, a city that is on a hill. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill. You are supposed to be seen, right? In your relationships, this idea that we're supposed to just be in the background and be hidden, nobody likes that. Let's just keep it real. That's the opposite of the pedestal. When you're feeling hidden, the person doesn't want anybody to know about you. You feel like they're ashamed of you and they're embarrassed of you, and you're questioning yourself. That's a problem. No. The relationship, how we relate to one another says, no, I want you to be seen. I want you in my vision. The more you are lifted up, you are not beneath me. I can see you. You're in an elevated spot. So think about it. When your words, you can talk yourself out of experiences because of your words. When you say things like, I don't want to be on a pedestal, just know that you are signing up for the alternative. And so what's the opposite of being lifted up? Being left down. Like, is that what you really want in a relationship? Do you really want to be in that position? Do you like a pedestal, a place of reverence and honor? I don't want that. I don't want to be placed on a pedestal. Really? So you don't want the position of reverence and honor. Well, what do you want in return? What would you rather have instead? Right? Like, what would you rather have? Because your conversation is going to determine the way that you move. It's going to determine your conversation is letting the world know what your standards are. So if you want to walk through life and say, look, I don't want to be revered and honored, just know that a person's actions and interactions with you will likely give you exactly what you're asking for. See, you get to determine like what it is that you really desire, what your standard is. And I would just caution you to be very careful as it pertains to words, because a word like pedestal can be taken and it can be manipulated. It can be it can become emotionally charged. And then you want to stay away from being placed on the pedestal when someone that looks at you and they have adoring eyes for you and a loving heart for you, that's exactly what they want to do. And now they're going to be coming up against an opposition that's inside of you where you feel like you shouldn't be there. Being placed on the pedestal does not mean that you're in a position to do harm to someone. And it doesn't mean that they're going to do harm to you. It just simply means you're in an elevated position, a place of reverence and honor. Right? And so what does that mean for you? How do you conduct your life? You got to look at yourself and begin thinking, what does it mean for me to live honorably? What does it mean for me to operate in such a way that someone would revere me? Now, there are all kinds of different standards, different things you can use. You know me, I go to the Bible. I'm all right. The Bible really does give us a lot of insight for living, right? So we can look at it like, what does it mean? How would I conduct myself? What does love look like? You know, when we talk about being patient and being kind and being protective and keeping no record of wrong and how I go about operating in my life, like when I start looking at it, what does that mean for my daily interactions? When it talks about our words, our words can be like honey. Well, what does that mean? Am I working on having conversations that are like honey? Do I have sweet words? Do I have a negative air about me? How do I operate in life? Am I the one that is just cutting people with my words? What is my behavior like? What are my attitudes like? All of that impacts someone's desire to want to have you in a position of reverence and honor. See, the more someone lifts you up and they're holding you up, and the more you're lifting up someone and they're lifting you up because you're saying, I value this person so much, we have to ask the question, okay, how do I, now that I'm being lifted up, how do I continue to add value? See, I was talking and the candle went out. And so now the candle, not fantastic. It's in the place of, I put it in a position for it to burn, but I was actually talking too much and I blew out the candle. I wasn't paying attention to the candle. And so guess what? That can happen too. Like real-time relationships, sometimes we place the person in a position of honor and value, and then we get so caught up in ourselves, we blow out their flame. So there's a lot like, oh, if I see the flame go out, oh, what do I do? Man, I wasn't even paying attention. I got so caught up in my own world, in my own mind, and what I was doing. The flame went out, and oh snap! Let me stay. I got to be more mindful. The work can't be so much that I'm drowning out the flame, that I'm blowing out the flame. I can't be about having so much fun that I'm not taking care of the flame. I can't be so consumed with myself that I'm not taking care of the flame. I need to make sure that the flame is all right. Right? Like that's why it's on the pedestal, because I want to see the flame. I want this part of my life to burn bright. I don't want it to be snuffed out because I'm being so selfish that I'm not paying attention. See, it works. Now, if we were going to personify the candle would be saying, okay, how can I burn? How can I burn bright? How can I burn as bright as I can? You know, what can I do to illuminate this situation? How can I bring light to this place that could be a dark place? And guess what? Check this out. The candle's job and responsibility in this situation too, and this is why we have to be careful with ourselves, is to know that it is not in competition with all these other lights that are on right now. The candle has to be sure of itself if we're personifying. And the candle has to say, you know what? Though I may be a little teacup candle, tea light candle, I'm not in competition with the lamp. I'm not in competition with that light or this light. I'm not in competition. I have a specific light that I add to him right now. Because guess what? He doesn't have the lamp in front of the cameras. Guess what? He didn't pull a light bulb out the ceiling and put it in front of the cameras. No. I'm the one. We talk about being exclusive quite a bit. And so the candle has to understand I'm the one. Now, I don't have to compare my light the way my little twinkle is. I don't have to compare it to anybody else. I'm the one. I'm the one that's with him right now. I'm the one in the illustration. See, when we start to be more and more comfortable about ourselves, and when we are on the pedestal, our job is not to be looking off the pedestal, trying to get off the pedestal and comparing ourselves to the others that are not on the pedestal. No, no, no. We got to the pedestal for a reason. You are the one. And because you are the one, you have a specific light that you add to the situation. And it's good. So there's a lot of responsibility. The more we draw closer to one another in relationship, the more responsibility that we have. We are learning relationship. We are learning how to relate to someone else. We are learning perspective in reference to, that's relationship, in reference to this candle, in reference to me, in reference to this talk. It's not about everybody else. It's not about these other candles that are not lit. Like, no, it's about this candle. What did I need from this candle? What did this candle needed the flame from me. What did I need? I needed this candle to burn. About relationship in reference to. And so the more we understand that, this is why the exclusive mindset is so important, because when we get locked in and dialed in with someone, we can begin shutting out the noise. We don't have to go with the script that is just given to us from society and social media and whatever else the hot topic is. Like, don't be put on a pedestal and somebody comes up with something real controversial so they can get 1 million views. Right? Like, we know how it works. All you got to do is be negative and you'll go viral, right? Like, be negative about a topic, you'll go viral. But let's just be thinkers for a second here. Let's really think about it. If someone can get you arguing about whether or not there are any good men in the world or any good women in the world, and whether or not, you know, being put on the pedestal is such a bad thing and no one deserves to be put on the pedestal, without thinking, and it's just emotional, it's just the feels, man, they can lock you in. They can lock you in, and your relationship will suffer because you're not actually being mindful and strategic about your own relationship and your own thoughts. Sometimes we just need to look up words. One of my favorites, manipulation. Like, people think, oh, manipulation, immediately negative. Not the case. You know where I learned manipulation from? The thing that taught me manipulation, first and foremost in my life, was in massage therapy school. And they would talk about how to manually manipulate someone's body. So my frame of reference for manipulation didn't even start with relationships in terms of romance or anything like that at all. It was about being able to touch someone and manually manipulate their body, move their arm around, get underneath their scapula, work there and do this and do that and move muscles and relax someone's body, like manual manipulation. I'm like, oh, okay. And then later on, it became this negative thing that people you do to just harm people. But let's dial it back. Again, let's become thinkers. Let's become strategic. When I squirt, I'm gonna talk about me, I won't talk about you. When I squirt on some cologne, the purpose of that is for some level of manipulation, right? It's from, come on, just keep it real. If I'm squirting on cologne, which most days I don't wear, like the horses don't care. Well, they do smell it, but they don't care. If I squirt on some cologne and I go walking past someone and they smell me and they're like, man, you smell good. Well, it worked. Like, I wanted to manipulate your nose, right? You go to the, again, I'll just stick with me. I won't even go with you. I go to the gym. If I'm going to the gym and I'm working out, my muscles are looking kind of swole, kind of buff. And someone, right, like I said earlier, someone touched my arm, you know, a couple of days ago. They're like, man, you got nice, strong arms. I was like, yeah, cool. So, like, a lot of the things we do are manipulative, but it does not have to be harmful. There's a difference. You can manipulate somebody to harm them, but you can manipulate somebody to love them. You can intentionally shift an atmosphere. You're like, I'm going to do this on purpose. I'm going to clean the house for myself. So when I come home, it is just, oh, an oasis for me. You're manipulating your own situation so that you can be impacted in a particular way. That is what manipulation is about. Doing something on purpose to get a certain outcome. Yeah, you're creating intentional change. It's not negative. And so, like, we have to think, if we're going to live and have intentional relationships, we have to be intentional with our thoughts and our words. And so this idea of a podium, hopefully I have at least slightly disturbed it for you, where you're thinking, podium's not half bad. A pedestal, right? Like, it's not half bad. And guess what? You can build your pedestal however you want to build it. People build pedestals and they put a statue on top of it, right? Like, it's something where you're giving focus to something that you have identified is focus worthy. Think about like, how do you think on something that you have hidden and just amongst the crowd? That's likely to just get passed over. But if you take the time and you invest effort and energy into lifting something up so that you can see it more often and clearly distinguished from everything else, don't you think that's going to enhance a relationship? You're like, oh, my babe, my boo, my honey love. There's a place that I have built because I'm constantly thinking about her. I'm strategizing. I'm looking to see how I can add value. So because I'm doing these things, I am building a pedestal. I am lifting her up. I am giving her a place of value and reverence and honor because all this stuff, because I'm appreciating. The light just went out. I'm focused. I saw that light go out that time. And since I was focused, I saw it. I saw the smoke. I saw the effect of it being burnt out. I said, I can immediately address this. I don't need it being burnt out. No, I need you to burn. And so if two people get into a situation where they're both operating this way, that's a win. That's a win. See, so often we approach our relationships and situations with this fear that things won't work out for me. It'll just be me doing it, and the other person won't. And I'm just going to be out there by myself, and it's just going to be one-sided. Well, I understand. The pain of yesterday, the disappointment of your past can get you to think that way. But can't we close that chapter so we can start a new chapter? Can't you close that chapter? Don't you want to close that chapter so you can say, look, in this next chapter, here are my standards, here are my expectations. This is what I desire. This is what I see. I'm single-mindedly, exclusively focused on having this outcome. And I'm not going to sit here and just be mingling amongst people that don't deserve my time. I'm focused on something. If you don't meet my standard, you don't get on the pedestal. Plain and simple. You can lay down the hammer and you don't have to sit there and be sampling everybody and, okay, let me just see how many people I can get up on the pedestal. And if I can just get a lot of people up here, then it's going to work out. Nah, like, no, we want to be exclusive. You're out. You're out. You don't burn. You're out. You don't burn. You're out. You're out. Excluding. We got to be good saying that the crowd needs to get smaller. See, let's look at it again. All these candles up here, we have what, 6 candles? Oh, it's a group. Oh, I'm so desirable. All these people want to be by me. We gotta get over that. Like, no, this is about making the crowd small. Bye. Bye. You're not the one. Bye. You're the one. Bye. You're not the one. You're the one. See, if I can just eliminate the ones that are not the one, then I can focus on the one. I can put all my time and energy and effort into the one. And then the one and myself, we burn together. And so there's a mindset shift. We think differently. We don't approach, remember, we approach relationships with a prosperous mindset. We're not approaching relationships with a deficit, like things aren't going to work out. No, what? No. Oh, no. We're approaching this with prosperity in mind. This is going to be a prosperous relationship. It is going to thrive. I'm approaching this and from a mindset of thriving, of having this love and having it more abundantly. Like, I'm not thinking deficit. I'm not thinking things aren't going to work out. No. Will there be struggles? Will it be obstacles? Yeah, I got all that. But life and life more abundantly, love and love more abundantly, romance and romance more abundantly, intimacy and intimacy more abundantly, great communication and great communication more abundantly. We must think about the abundance of life, because if we don't, the conversations and the thoughts and the limiting beliefs that we argue for will be the ones that we keep. As long as you argue for your limitations, you will keep them. And I get it. Brian, it's easier said than done. So? So what? So it's easier said than done. So is everything. Like, it's easier to talk about getting in shape than it is getting in shape. Yeah, it's easier. So what? So what, we don't do it? No, obviously we're going to still do it. Like, we're going to do it anyway. Because we don't want the lesser, right? That's not what we're here for. We're not here for the lessers. So we have to say so. So it's easier said than done. So we do the hard thing. It's hard letting go of the past. It's hard living in the past, right? Like, think about it. The past wasn't all that great to you, or else you wouldn't have wanted to leave it in the past. So, like, let's just really think about it. We get to make a change, but it has to be on purpose, intentional. And so when we hear things, when we see things, I would say this, especially when you see things that are like real popular and really controversial, that's a great time to step back and listen to the conversation. What exactly is being said? See, I think one of the things we get to do is we get to listen to what is being said. And if you get good at this, your relationships will thrive. Get good at being able to hear what is being said and what is not being said. Now, look at this. Oh, I didn't even want that to happen, because that was just another quick little point. So I'm clicking, right? This one is burnt out. I'm clicking. It keeps lighting now, but I was clicking and it wasn't lighting. Again, another situation, because if the candle's on the pedestal and it gets blown out, and then I have nothing in me, no resources to then light the candle back up, then we have another problem. This is why relationships is so important. How we relate to one another is so important, because I need to be able to see you and I need to be able to see me. And if I have nothing to offer because I'm empty, that's a problem. Because now the situation is going to get cold and dark. There's this pedestal thing. Relationships should bring out the best in us. This is why I encourage you to think only about rising in love. Think only about what is that next level of growth, the next level of connection, the next level of depth. I'm working here so that we can go to the next level. No steps backwards, right? We want to do life more abundantly. So I hope this has been encouraging and helpful to you as you think about this topic, or as it presents itself from time to time, about being on a pedestal. I hope that you would share it with someone, that you would say to them, like, listen, if a pedestal is a place of reverence and honor, why will I fight that? Because if I can offer that to someone and they can offer that to me, and our relating to one another, we're the better for it. Because the pedestal will cost you something. It will cost you a lot. And so the person that you have in that position, know that you are paying a price, and know that they are paying a price to have you in that place. There's a price being paid. This is why we can even honor each other more. Think about it. Like, that person is paying a price to they have to use energy and effort to lift me above everyone else. Like, that's special. And I'm paying a price to lift them above everyone else. That's special. This is a special place. And we can start appreciating each other differently. And this is not only in romance. The pedestal can happen in your job. in your community. You can place, it could be with the Girl Scout troop that you work with, or anywhere where you're saying, I'm going to put these people, I'm going to hold this person, or this part of agriculture, or this part of the world, I'm going to hold it in a position of reverence and honor. That means you are serving that place with such love and such value that it makes a positive impact. You can hold your health, any aspect of your life. You can hold that thing in a position of reverence and honor. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my health up on a pedestal, which means I want to focus on that. I want to see it. I want to give reverence and honor to my body, my temple. I want to care for it differently. See, we start holding things in a sacred space. I believe that we'll start treating things and treating people differently. That's what reverence and honor does. So keep your candle burning. Reverence and honor. Build that place in as many relationships as you have. Doesn't have to be like huge, earth-shattering things that you do. Sometimes it can be listening to someone, quality time, a word of encouragement, a small gift, just letting them know that you appreciate them. Whatever it is, reverence and honor. Take that with you, apply it to your life, and smile while you do it. It's a gift, right? It's a gift to be able to be so close to somebody that we can hold them in that place. I appreciate you all a lot. Thank you so much for this time and being with me and together, right? Thanks for just this communication. I believe that we are impacting the world, making a difference. So as we shut it down tonight, we do so the way that we always do. So I'll just pray a quick prayer and we can shut it down. Father, thank you for this day, and thank you for the opportunity to share and be connected with all of these wonderful people. Thank you for the moments of time that we've invested in one another and being in community together and sharing. And I thank you. I thank you for their lives. I thank you for whatever has been that has brought them to this moment so that we could be together. Thank you for all those things. And I thank you that they were overcomers of everything that tried to stop them in life, that nothing has been able to keep them down. And they have made it to this moment, still breathing, still going. And so I pray, because they have made it here, that these words would be encouragement to them, to their relationships, to their life, to their endeavors. I pray that something that was said or something they may have seen could be encouragement to keep them going, to know that there is another level and a new level for them, that there is a new chapter available for them to begin writing with a new narrative about how life and how rich relationships can be. I pray that someone would just take something and start using it, that they would take this thought of reverence and honor and begin applying it, apply it to themselves, apply it to others, to their environment. I just pray that we would be those that would be the ones cultivating an atmosphere of reverence and honor, where we could revere and honor one another, and that our environments and our atmospheres would be changed because we've made a commitment to do so. This world needs more people that will look upon others with reverence and honor. And so I pray just a boldness would be with each and every person here, whether they're watching live or on team replay. I pray that they would just take the boldness and commit to taking action, that they would slow down, be careful with their words and intentional with their actions and their thoughts, so that where they show up, the atmosphere can be blessed and people would be blessed because of their presence. I pray that you would prosper them in their relationships, that they would have a mindset that does not have lack, that they would have an abundant, prosperous mindset as it pertains to their lives. And I pray that as they take action, you would prosper them financially, with their health, in their relationships, in their confidence and self-esteem. I pray that they would be prospered in every aspect of their lives. Thank you so much. In advance, we thank you because we are counting it as done. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. I appreciate you all. Cheers. So Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Know that you are worthy of being revered and honored. And walk through your life, go through your life that way, because you deserve to be seen that way. You deserve to see yourself that way. And it is a gift to you. So have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I'm B.A. Shepherd, 2Ps, ARD, reminding you to be a shepherd. The world has enough sheep. Love you much. See ya.